One of the questions we get from time to time goes something like this: I moved to Georgia from this other state. Do I need to update my estate plan? Do I need to update any of my documents? Hi, I'm estate planning and probate attorney Joel Beck with Peach State Wills and Trust in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And the answer to that question, do I need to update my documents because I've moved from another state, is maybe, maybe not. It depends. What does it depend on? It depends on how your existing documents are set up. So let's dive into this. First, your documents don't expire or become invalid simply because you moved from one state to another. Thanks to Article 4 of the U.S. Constitution, the full faith and credit clause, one state needs to give legitimacy and honor the legal acts and judicial acts, etc., of another state. So they're going to be accepted here. If you did a will or a trust, healthcare directive, power of attorney, for example, in another state, it's going to be accepted here. But just because they're going to be accepted here, it doesn't mean that they're optimized for Georgia law to work as well as they should or as well as you may need them to. You see, the concepts of estate planning are very similar or identical across the country, but the implementation of those concepts, the laws adopted by each state, can be materially different. For example, in Georgia, with respect to a will, Georgia law allows you as the testator to waive certain requirements that add time and cost to the probate process. For example, you can waive the requirement that your executor post a bond. You can waive the requirement that they do an inventory and appraisal, file annual returns, for example. And cutting these requirements out can save time, energy, and money. And the easiest way to waive those items is for the will to specifically say that. Your heirs and beneficiaries might be able to waive these items if the will does not, but only if they all agree. Likewise, in your will, you can grant certain statutory powers to your executor so that he or she does not have to go get permission from the court to do this, that, or another thing. And again, it might be able to have your heirs or beneficiaries agree to grant those powers if the judge agrees. But again, only if all of them agree. So sometimes having these things baked into the will itself is going to make the probate process simpler and easier if probate is necessary due to transferring your assets following your death. Now, more importantly, a power of attorney done in another state may not be enforceable here in Georgia. It can be honored, of course, it's going to be accepted, but if a third party doesn't honor it, we might not be able to enforce it under Georgia law. No matter what state you did your power of attorney in, for it to be enforceable, for a court to require somebody to accept it, it has to meet the requirements of Georgia's Uniform Power of Attorney Act. And if you want the agent to have certain powers under Georgia law, that needs to be addressed in the power of attorney itself. Healthcare directives or living wills, medical proxies, as they're called sometimes in other states, could be honored here as well, but hospitals and medical providers here may not be familiar with those forms, may not understand the ins and outs of how they work, and that may cause a little bit of problem from time to time as they have to get up to speed on that. We generally do recommend that the power of attorney and the healthcare directive be updated to comply with Georgia law. Wills or trust, do those need to be updated? We usually want to review those, understand your wishes and situation, and then give you guidance from there. So as you can see, the answer of do I need to update my documents just because I've moved to Georgia is a big gray area. It depends. Your documents will be accepted, but they aren't necessarily optimized, and so you might want to get them optimized and improved for Georgia law if you're going to be a resident here. Now, if you've got more questions about estate planning or probate, we invite you to visit us online at peachstatewills.com. You can download free information for us. You can download a guide to estate planning or guide to probate. Just click on free info at the top menu at peachstatewills.com. Or if you need to speak with an experienced estate planning or probate lawyer about your need, we invite you to call us at 678-344-5342. Thanks.